Tonight, we're going in depth on cryptocurrency. On Friday afternoon, President Trump signed what is called the Genius Act, and it has bipartisan support. It is the first ever stablecoin and crypto regulation bill in the U.S. and actually in any part of the world. While some of the rules are still to be crafted and drawn up over the course of next year, it's supposed to help you feel more secure in making these types of investments in the future. For the first time in U.S. history, there are now federal cryptocurrency regulations on the books.
I'm very much in favor of crypto, Bitcoin, all of the different things, because otherwise China's going to take it over.
Up until now, aside from usual fraud protections, investing in stablecoins came with high risk, with the possibility of no guarantee of reward.
We've come a long way since the Biden administration, when they had no idea what you were all talking about, and half of you were under arrest for no reason whatsoever.
Friday, President Trump signed the Genius Act. The bipartisan crypto bill will set guidelines that would require stablecoin issuers to comply with U.S. anti-money laundering and sanction rules. Stablecoins are crypto assets that are tied to the value of other assets like the U.S. dollar, the most popular one being Bitcoin.
We take a giant step to cement American dominance of global finance and crypto technology as we sign the landmark Genius Act into law. So congratulations to everybody. This is a big deal.
In the past, especially under the Biden administration, the federal government saw crypto as something the American people needed to be protected from. But after an election which Trump himself campaigned in crypto bars, Trump said regulations need to be written to allow people to use their money as they please without funding criminal activity and leaving them susceptible to fraud.
Consumers, vendors, and people all over the world will then be able to use those stable coins for ultra-low-cost transactions that are cleared and settled in a matter of seconds rather than weeks and months.
In the Genius Act, many of the new regulations will be written in the next year by the Treasury Department when it comes to how banks and other financial institutions must conduct their business if they want to do anything with stablecoins. Those regulations will include consumer protections and ways to avoid money laundering. So you may have seen on this program many times, or you've actually heard on other programs and seen on social media, what is the big deal about Bitcoin? What is all this fuss about? Here is what's up and why there is a frenzy happening right now. The U.S.'s long-term buying power is in question, and as the dollar weakens, and things could get more expensive over time. Just like some people do with gold, some people are turning to cryptocurrency as the currency of the future, and people are leaning heavily right now into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a decentralized currency, which means unlike the U.S. dollar, political decisions like fluctuations between Democratic and Republican policies aren't tied to its value. It was almost 1 year ago this month, President Trump running for a second term and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., still an independent presidential candidate at the time, both campaigned at a big Bitcoin convention in Nashville.
If crypto is going to define the future, I want to be mined, minted, and made in the USA. It's going to be. It's not going to be made anywhere else. And if Bitcoin is going to the moon, as we say, it's going to the moon, I want America to be the nation that leads the way, and that's what's going to happen.
It was the first time a major presidential candidate acknowledged crypto in friendly terms and promised to craft regulations that would be friendly to investors, but also prevent crime and manipulation. Keep in mind, crypto investors have been asking for regulations to be written here in the U.S. because they have been concerned other countries would do it first, and it would be on terms they either didn't like or were hostile to crypto itself. Keep in mind, when asked if she was crypto-friendly, Vice President Kamala Harris said she was open to reforms, but did not offer specifics. The price of Bitcoin itself continues to hover near some of its highest levels since its creation. The price of one Bitcoin sits around $18,000 to $17,000 as financial institutions began this month setting up exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, as they prepare to use Bitcoin more in their future. It has fallen from its all-time high, hit this month, around $123,000. The state of Oklahoma itself was on the verge of investing into Bitcoin this spring, but it was considered a risky investment, so the measure failed in a very close vote.
I appreciate the author, and I appreciate his willingness to look for alternative investments. But as somebody that comes from the background that I do, protecting depositors' money to the extent that I can, I just think I would find it very difficult to be able to look my constituents in the eye and say that I put at risk, some of the money that they've worked so hard for and entrusted the state.
Oklahoma can be last, or we can be at the front of the line. And there's a lot of things we're last in. And this is going to come around at some point where if we don't do this today, we're going to do this at some point. This bill puts guardrails in place. It limits to 5%. It says we're only investing in something that has a market cap of $500 billion.
The bill that they were talking about there is now dead. It would have set up a Bitcoin reserve with some state funds and within state retirement accounts. Supporters of the bill say many other states and the federal government are making some investments in Bitcoin, and Oklahoma should not be left behind. However, the Senate's top Republican on the state's Budget Appropriations Committee, Chairman Chuck Hall, who you just heard from, says what was being proposed was too risky and too expensive for Oklahoma right now. You may have already seen them, and more are coming when it comes to ATMs that let you buy Bitcoin, just like ATMs that let you get cash now. The Oklahoma State Legislature passed a bill last spring to put in safeguards and standards for people using Bitcoin ATMs and what the operator should have and do to stay in good standing with the state. The machines in the future hopefully will also talk to each other, and you'll be able to access all of your Bitcoin in one place there. There are, on the consumer side, heavy warnings about sending Bitcoin to scammers overseas and how it is hard, if not impossible, to recover your Bitcoin if you are scammed out of it. As always, when we talk about cryptocurrency in the U.S. financial markets, the views and opinions expressed are not meant to be sole source financial advice, but it is to foster an understanding of what is actually going on financially in the world around us. Investing may bring gains, but it may also bring heavy losses, including the possibility of the loss of the entire initial investment. Please consider consulting a personal financial advisor and make investment moves that are right for you and your situation before you act.